term. No easy passage for them today, though. You would think Piacenza, last season's second division champions, have this excellent home record. A show of consistency they hope can provide the backbone to a successful survival bid, as of course is always the priority for promoted teams in Italy. They've maintained their policy of ignoring foreign talent, as with their last appearance in the top flight. Their squad contains only Italians, although they have strengthened their staff by recruiting players with previous Serie A experience, among them Carbone and Carini, as well as Capellini and Mirko Conte from Inter, although disappointingly those two aren't fit for this one. Two of last season's three-pronged attack, Inzaghi and De Vitas, have gone, but they've signed a useful frontman in Caccia from Ancona, and will hope too the attacking flair of Piovani will continue to flourish. 8 goals in 2 league and cup games. Juve, it seems, have carried on where they left off. And with Vialli then back after injury in tandem with Ravanelli, Italy's match winner in midweek, Piacenza's defence is likely to be fully occupied. Surprisingly, Del Piero is not even a substitute today, but there's hardly a lack of talent in a team that includes such skillful players as Deschamps, Paulo Sousa, Jugovic, and young Tacchinardi, who made his Italian debut so impressively in midweek. No Vierkabod, though. The veteran defender joins his former Sampdoria teammate Lombardo on the casualty list, so Perini comes in at the back. Juventus flexing their muscles before their opening match in the European Champions League. They're in Rangers group, of course, and open against Borussia Dortmund on Wednesday. But Piacenza don't fear too many sides in this compact Galliana stadium. Just ask Milan, who a couple of years ago were dismissed from the Italian Cup here. Indeed, Piacenza have lost only 3 home games in the past 3 seasons. So for you then, Don Howe, alongside me here, memories revived of 2 years ago when Piacenza put up such a good fight too against Juve.
Yes, Peter, and good afternoon to our viewers. Yeah, that was a very eventful day. I remember it quite well because Piacenza played well on the day, played good football. There was 2 goals disallowed. That there was I mean, I looked at it and I thought to myself, you know, normally you would get one of those, a referee looking at the situation, but it didn't happen. And then Reggiana won at AC Milan, and that sent Piacenza down, which is how it goes sometimes in football. It's a super little stadium, and as you can see, it's jam-packed. You know, everybody's got a lot of interest in this game, and it's a good pitch as well. I mean, they do. It always reminds me a little bit of Ipswich. You know, Ipswich could always present you with a lovely pitch. So in some ways, it encouraged the away team to go there and want to play there. For Juventus, I suppose, can they do it again, Peter? It's hard to do it the first time, as they did last year, but doing it the second time's even harder, as Blackburn are finding out, for instance, in the Premiership this year. But they have got some talented players, as we all know, Ravanelli and Vialli up front. And these 3 lads they bought from Sampdoria. They're not, 2 of them are not there today in Vierkabod and Lombardo, but Jugovic is, in my book, a very good midfield player.
Yes, he's starting with 2 goals already. Jugovic slotting into a midfield role, as of course he did with Sampdoria. Piacenza then to kick off in the all-red strip, attacking the goal to our right. The referee this afternoon is from Genoa. It's Graziano Cesari. Super atmosphere in the stadium.
The only thing I would say about this pitch, Peter, to come back in there, is that it is a super surface. It's a passing surface, but it's narrow. It's one of the narrowest pitch in Serie A, you know, and obviously that helps a team who wants to defend.
Well, here's an early chance for Di Francesco. Didn't really get hold of it, though. No problem for Angelo Peruzzi, who was preferred in goal to Paliuca by the national coach Arrigo Sacchi for that win in midweek over Slovenia. Vialli's challenge up front. We had wondered whether Vialli would be in the starting lineup today. He has had a problem, a knee problem, which surfaced again during the opening day match against Cremonese. But he's back to lead the front line alongside Ravanelli. What a combination they were last season. I think these two, perhaps above any other, epitomise the character that Juventus showed last season.
Yeah, well, they played together so well. I mean, the understanding. I'll come back after this attack. Yeah, the understanding between the 2 of them as the season went on last season, it got better and better and better. And obviously, they've both got a good eye for goal. They can run at defenders. They're good in the air in the box. Good partnership.
And Ravanelli, of course, the leading scorer in all competitions in Italy. Here he is now 30 goals in all. Vialli got 16 in Serie A. This is Vialli. Piacenza struggling to get it away. This is Delivio. He's in the team with Lombardo out for 3 months because of that broken leg. Rather ironical, really, that he's out through injury as soon as he joins Juventus. He hardly missed a game, of course, for Sampdoria. That was Pasotto wearing 22, the new man from Torino. Another very good signing by Juventus. He was outstanding for the Turin club. Very much their find of the season. Juventus, it seems, quickly into their stride, and here is Vialli, as ever covering so much ground. Di Livio. The referee was happy with the challenge. Porini scuttling back.
Peter, straight away you can see Juventus are going to knock it about. They're going to try and run the legs off Piacenza. Keep it simple, give it early, keep moving it around. They know that Piacenza are going to try and close them down and give them no room at all. And obviously the service, it is a passing service, like I said earlier on, and that will help Juventus.
Di Livio. Vialli with the intended pass. Easily cut out though by Rossini, who's the sweeper in the Piacenza team. Former under-21 international, once on Inter's books. So he's played at the top level. Ravanelli. The tracking back by Stefano Turini. That's the coach, Luigi Cagni, renowned for his attacking ideas. Let's hope he continues in that vein on the team's return to Serie A. It was Deschamps with the cross in, the Frenchman. So influential in the latter part of the last season, once he got over that injury problem that he had, or two injuries really. He had the Achilles tendon problem. It's a big enough cigar that Marcello Lippi has there.
When you've won the title, I think
you can afford them.
Yeah, that's right.
You can afford them. That's why Don has the best hats. There's Tacchinardi. Tacchinardi is the sweeper this season, having played in that role towards the back end of the last campaign with much success too. The switch made by Lippi. Young man of rich potential, Tacchinardi, although he played as an orthodox central defender for the Italians in the week alongside Costa Curta. Bologna with a forward pass. Here is Tacchinardi. Bologna. Good anticipation by Porini. Paulo Sousa, the Portuguese international. Again, one of Juve's many successes last season. That was Jugovic in there threatening.
I think those diagonal balls, they always give defenders nightmares. I mean, they have to come round on the wrong foot. The left-sided players there have to come round on the right foot. And getting it away, there's Cagni there. He's getting at to them. As much as everybody says that Piacenza will attack and go at Juventus, which might be true, obviously when you're up against Vialli and Ravanelli, you can't afford to throw everybody forward. They would exploit any space.
Here's Pasotto taking the throw then for Juventus. They had 11 away wins in Serie A last season. And offside flag. Let's catch up. Pasotto. Now Vialli. This is Deschamps. Ravanelli. And here's a chance for Ferrara, which he rather scuffed, but Vialli nipping in there almost took advantage.
Yeah, well, I think Vialli wanted Ferrara to pull it square across the box, because he's getting in there. And on this angle, it's a bit tight. He decides to have a shot at goal. Vialli has to go for it because all of a sudden he's pulled his shot rather than try to get it to Vialli. It's a typical defender's shot when he gets forward.
Turini dispossessed over by Ravanelli. Nobody will be working harder for Juve than Ravanelli today, I'm sure. Already with 4 goals this season, including his match winner for Italy against Slovenia. Now, Perini. He's the man who's come in for Bjerkevod, and of course Jurgen Kohler, having moved on to Borussia Dortmund. Jugovic. And the free kick given to Piacenza. Only their second season, remember, in the top flight. Their first back in 93-94. And they had some useful results in that campaign. They drew at home to Milan as well as Juve, losing just twice on this ground to Torino and Lazio. So you would think their hopes of survival will rest on how well they can play away from home. Laid off by Ravanelli to Paulo Sousa. For me, one of Juve's best players last season, Paulo Sousa, although apparently on the opening day against Cremonese, he had a nightmare, even though the team won 4-1. Even the best of players can have off days. Tacchinardi taking the free kick to Passato. Now Jugovic. Here's Ferrara, who's back in favour now with the Italian national team, starting the game against Slovenia as a right back, rather than just in a marking role. Passato. Here's Ravanelli. Now Di Livio, plying his trade down this left channel, and cut out by Bologna. Very consistent Bologna for Piacenza in recent seasons since he came from Verona.
It's quite a point you were making there about when they play for Italy, when these players play for Italy against when they play for their club, like Ferrara and Tacchinardi. I mean, here they play man for man and sweeper. For the nation, they play a zonal back 4, and they're quite happy to be converted and quite happy to get on with it.
This is Piovani. Busy, industrious player, Piovani, a good goal scorer too. Now Carini. You may remember him from Sampdoria and of course Juventus too. He had a couple of seasons with them before being part of the deal that took Vialli from Sampdoria to Juventus. Carini, having arrived via Napoli, never quite made the breakthrough with them or Sampdoria. So it's a big season for him. Jugovic. Rather aimlessly forward though, easily cut out by Bologna. Although maybe Vialli had wandered too far, which he seemed to be acknowledging. I think it's going to be an open game though, Don, looking at the early exchanges.
It seems so. I mean, we've got the kind of nice build-up from Juventus, a passing build-up, where it's very direct by Piacenza.
Here's Turini. Catches in the middle, and Piovani. There's Turini, and his effortless charge down. Didier Deschamps doing some good defensive work for Juventus. Turini, who got just a couple of goals last season, has this role wide on the right. Bologna with the cross in, dealt with by Jugovic. Carini is a good passer of the ball. Ravanelli. It's a good pass from him. Now Paulo Sousa. Vialli, Di Livio and Ravanelli. This is Macopi. Now Carini, who has the playmaker role in midfield. Made off then by Carbone, the former Milan and Fiorentina player. One of the new recruits by Piacenza for this season. Rossini to Macopi. Good firm challenge by Tacchinardi.
Well, I think they both basically slid into each other there. I think both of them went for the ball. I think it was a fairly...
It's Lorenzini. He's come in a bit late than I would think on Ferrara.
Yeah, he's mistimed it, no doubt about that, Peter.
Lorenzini, who's only just arrived on loan from Milan. The number 18 for Piacenza, catching Ferrara, whose recall to the national team was his reward for some outstanding displays last season for Juventus. His first, of course, for the club after so many years with Napoli, where he won 2 championships in his 17 years in Naples. But clearly here in some distress.
He's holding his ankle as though he's either gone over on an ankle or he took a blow on the ankle.
Paulo Sousa. Good running by Vialli. And he's forced the corner. Vialli, who has finally made it clear he's not going to play for the Italian team again, even if Arrigo Sacchi wanted him to. He had been tipped for a recall, but then fell out with Sacchi again after the coach's remarks, suggesting that the players initially didn't want Vialli back. Here's Delivio with the corner, which isn't a good one. Apparently Sacchi asked the players what they felt about a recall for Vialli. This was some months back, and they said no. But when he asked them again recently, they said yes, they changed their minds. But Vialli said, who's picking the team, the coach or the players?
And I can understand him saying that. I mean, I'm surprised that Sacchi has got caught up in a thing like that as the national team manager. I mean, what happens behind those closed doors has got nothing to do with being public information. And it would upset the player. I mean, if a player, and they get to know, for some unknown reason, he's had a chat with the senior players, and when he wasn't doing so well, they didn't want Vialli. Now all of a sudden he's getting goals again, as he did all last season. They want him back in the side.
And the upshot of it all is, it would seem anyway, that Vialli has played his last game for Italy. But certainly not for Juventus, who will see him as a key figure in their dual challenge this season to retain the Scudetto and, of course, to win the European Cup. The flick on there was from Vialli. He was such an imaginative as well as hard-working player. Bologna showing his coolness under pressure. Massimo Taibi is the goalkeeper for Piacenza. Hasn't missed a game now in 4 seasons. Vialli quickly goes down though by Carini. And then the mistake, an unforced one really from Rossini. Ravanelli. This is Paulo Sousa. Ferrara making that forward run over on the far side. Now Delivio. He's seeing plenty of the ball early on. Pesotto. Still Pesotto until Di Francesco got a foot in. Then Delivio, and that's a foul by Di Francesco. Delivio, who also played for the Italian team in the week, his first cap. As Arrigo Sacchi rung the changes yet again.
It's a nice little trick here. He goes towards those who are going to take it backwards, and he lets it run through his legs. And Di Francesco completely just stuck his leg out.
He's going to have a fight on to keep his place, Delivio, of course, for Juventus once Lombardo is available. In came Vialli, and he's furious with himself and didn't keep his header down. Wasn't the strongest of challenges on him as he came in there.
Peter, he could have done a lot better than that. I mean, for a man who lives off those type of things, I mean, he's made a nice late run through the ranks. He's got on the end of it, and he's virtually just, the ball's hit his head rather than he's hit the ball and directed it into the target and past the goalkeeper. It's virtually flew off his head over the bar. For a regular front player, that's a poor header.
A booking for Di Francesco for that foul on Delivio. Catcher in pursuit. Now, as Peruzzi saved that outside the area, I think he may well have done. He's also collided with Porini at the same time.
I think what you'll find is he slides out the box as he gets on the ball, and he's trying to keep the ball from going over the line, but you and I can see from here he's over the line.
Most
of his
I can't. Well, I think he obviously was, but you must have good vision for that one, Don.
Yeah, I think he slid out with the ball, and then he clawed it back, and because by the time the referee arrives there, he says, look, it hasn't gone over the line.
The free kick has been given. Don Howe's spot on.
It's in a very dangerous position.
He's useful on these free kicks too, Carini. And he's had a crack at goal, and it came back off. I would think the bar, maybe the post. Certainly the angle of the two. Ravanelli on the counter-attack. But a let-off end for Juventus. Here's Vialli. Look at Delivio sprinting outside him too. And a long, long run by Paulo Sousa that's unrewarded. But how quickly then they broke from defence to attack. But here it is again, the free kick from Carini, which caught everybody out.
Yeah, that's right. The goalkeeper, because it's an in-swinging free kick, he has to go towards that near post. And the free kick's just, I mean, anybody can get a touch, but as it was, it's a little bit higher than most of the front players, and he straddled the corner of the crossbar and post. I would think 2 or 3 inches lower, it would have gone in that top corner.
And how he would have relished a goal against the club that released him, Carini. A really clever piece of thinking then. He was such a promising player in his younger day, Carini. He was captain of that successful Italian under-21 side that won the European Championships. As Rossini there gets himself in a spot of bother. They look a bit nervous at the back to me, Piacenza. Rossini in particular. And he's just the man to capitalise on that, Vialli. Meantime, here is Piovani. The man whose goal wrote his name in history when he knocked Milan out of the Italian Cup 2 years back. What a day that was for Piacenza. Having held them in the San Siro, they then won by Piovani's goal here in the Galliana Stadium. Good feel to the match so far. Turini. Here's catch-up. He's onside. Away goes Di Francesco. Can he provide the service? Wasn't the easiest of balls to deal with there. And Juventus can break with Jugovic, looking to release Ravanelli. And that was painful.
You were saying, Peter, that you thought the Piacenza defenders looked a little bit nervous. I think it's the same at the other end. I mean, they got that offside wrong there, Juventus. I mean, Di Francesco, I mean, he got down that right flank. He's crossing. I think the idea was to get it to the man on the back post, but it's just a bit too heavy.
Tacchinardi. Played off by Ravanelli to Delivio. Little trip.
He's a clever little player, Delivio. I mean, he can beat a defender. He's good on the ball. You know, he's got nice little skills. He can twist and turn. He can change direction. He must get a few fouls.
Paulo Sousa taking the free kick, headed back by Ravanelli. It goes Deschamps, tangling with Carini. And the free kick Piacenza had taken too quickly for the liking of referee Cesari. He must be the most suntanned official in the Italian game.
Well, he got it right there. He knew exactly where the free kick had got to be taken from. And he held his ground, the referee. He didn't let the players get away with it.
Rossini with a long pass upfield. Away by Ferrara, then Delivio. Good anticipation by Lorenzini. Playing on the left-hand side of that Piacenza defence. Soto has the same role for Juve. Deschamps. He's a clever, nifty little player, Deschamps. Played for the French team that won by 10 goals in midweek against Azerbaijan, I think it's pronounced. I don't think Ginola of Newcastle was in the team. Free kick given to Juve, another offence on Ravanelli, who's coming in for some harsh treatment in this early phase. Time for Rossini. A copy, the experienced defender alongside him, just telling him to calm it down. Here's Rossini now. Ferrara. That was a rugged challenge then by the Italian international. But certainly one of the contenders for the Italian player of the season in that last campaign. So strong at the back for Juve. I really don't think that Arrigo Sacchi could have ignored it much longer.
I like him in the centre of defence, Peter. I mean, he's playing in that, I'm going to put it, that unaccustomed right-back position, and he's doing that for the Italian national team. But I like him in the centre of defence. You know, he can stop most of the good strikers in the world. I mean, he is a terrific marker.
Tacchinardi. Here's Perini. And ahead of him, Ravanelli. Now Pisotto. Lippi, the coach, feels they have an even stronger squad this season, Juventus, even though they've lost Kohler and Baggio. Also Yanni, who's got to Spain with Real Betis. Tacchinardi, just terrific pass. A non-challenge, really, from Caci. Tacchinardi to Ravanelli. Patient approach play from Juventus. Deschamps probing as ever. Now this is Vialli. Didn't pull it back far enough though. Away by Rossini. Ferrara's won it back again for Juventus. But the cross not deep enough. It was away by Macopi. Pisotto. Vialli to Delivio. Ferrara. Juventus capped in the Piacenza half now. Delivio. Better cross this time, but just too close to Paibi, who makes a confident catch.
Well, it was good attack, some good attacking play there by Juventus. All right, no quality in the end ball, the cross. But like I said, the prodding play. I mean, Deschamps, he never hesitates. He's a good midfield player. He gets it into the forwards' feet as quick as and as often as he can. He gets his head up, he's looking for Ravanelli, he's looking for Vialli, and he'll get it in their feet, or he'll get it up the side of them. If he can't get it in the feet, he'll turn them and push them up the side of the box.
This is Deschamps on the ball now. Yet another foul, this time on Vialli.
Vialli's saying to Deschamps, I don't want the ball in the air, I want it on the deck. And it's unusual for Deschamps to knock it in the air, I've got to say that. Normally it's these 15 metre, 20 metre balls shoved hard and low on the deck.
Carlo Sousa taking this free kick. Yet again Vialli went down, but this time no sympathy from the referee and nor certainly from the home crowd. Ferrara looking for the run of Ravanelli, so too is Macopi. Macopi, who is 33 now, so he's been around a while. But Ravanelli is such a handful.
And that's another thing they're prepared to do, Ravanelli and Vialli. They will chase lost causes. They never give up on anything. And they'll chase a defender down and put that defender under pressure all the time. I mean, that's good play from talented players.
Ferrara. And Cabone leaving the throw for Lorenzini. Piacenza's free kick this time. Taken by Cabone, who I remember scoring a spectacular goal for Fiorentina against Juventus last season. In that marvellous game when Juve came back to win by 3 goals to 2, having been a couple of goals behind. One of the best games in Serie A last season. But then Juventus featured in a few of those on their way to the title. This is Di Francesco. Polonia. The jump by Ferrara. Delivio, now Tacchinardi. Ravanelli, Away from Di Francesco, despite his efforts to tug his shirt. Pesotto. Good anticipation.
I think, Peter, we now got ourselves, this game's got into the pattern that I think for the rest of the game it's going to stay similar, where Juventus are going to keep a lot of possession and knock it around and then get it into Ravanelli and Vialli against the quick counter-attacks of Piacenza and the longer ball, the quicker ball out of defence up to their front players.
Caccia was the player that caught offside. Ravanelli to Pesotto. Juventus, who started the season then in such vibrant fashion with those 2 4-1 wins in League and Cup. In contrast, Piacenza have been beaten in both their games. They were knocked out of the Italian Cup by a 4th division team, Forlì, beaten on penalties. Ferrara. This is Tacchinardi, linking now with Paulo Sousa. Ravanelli. Pesotto seeking out that run from Ferrara. Carbone with the clearance for Piacenza. Going as far as Perini. Juventus beginning now to dominate the play, dictate the play. Tacchinardi. So many talented players in the team. Ravanelli with that clever little flick on then. Now Vialli trying to do the same. And Di Francesco was there to tidy up. Rossini. Paulo Sousa with the header. Now away goes Piovani. Very much a favourite of the home crowd. Turini. Caccia in the middle. It's too long for him. Piovani at the far post. Down towards Di Francesco. And this is Caccia. No, the flag's up. The flag's up. To the utter dismay of Caccia, who thought he'd scored, denied by the linesman's flag, and in fairness, Don, it was up for some time.
Yeah, but it was a close thing. I mean, what happened was the cross came over, they knocked it out, and the defence went out. But I don't think Deschamps came out with the rest of them. He seemed to stay in. He was a little bit late getting out with the rest of the Juventus defence. Seen there is by the penalty spot.
But by now those defenders have seen the flag up. But an escape for Juventus, and certainly fresh hope for Piacenza. Down goes Caccia, the man who was unlucky not to have scored. 2 goals in 2 competitions so far, the 2 games they've played. And the one in the league on the opening day was his first ever in the top flight. Bologna with a rather wasteful cross that time. Out by Jugovic to Di Livio. Now Jugovic again. Paulo Sousa. Half an hour gone. Piacenza 0. Juventus 0. Juventus the champions. Piacenza, the team who came up as winners of Serie B last season. Paulo Sousa. Caccia. Down goes Piovani. I don't think Ferrara was too happy with the reaction of Piovani. Words being exchanged between the two.
Peter, he miscontrolled the ball. And as soon as he miscontrolled the ball, Piovani, he took a dive. The ball comes into him. His first touch is not very good. Obviously, it's a touch of I suppose obstruction, but goes on all the time.
Looked a bit harsh, didn't it?
Yes.
Bologna. That's Carini failing to keep his shot anywhere near the target. Well, I think he's a good acquisition for Piacenza, Carini. A player who is yet then to fill that potential, which I suppose is why Juventus were prepared to let him go when they did. That package deal which took Vialli to Juventus, and he was valued at £12 million. Paulo Sousa just beginning to get a grip in midfield now, alongside Deschamps. This is Passotto, outmanoeuvred though by Turini. Passotto, who cost £3 million from Torino. Di Francesco. Ravanelli towards Vialli. Could be danger for Piacenza here. Deschamps now. Not a bad try either from the Frenchman, who hopes he scored his first goal of the season against Cremonese. We're not sure whether he's been credited with that or it was an own goal off Tentoni, a shot that was deflected in. And knowing the Italians, that'll go down as an own goal. Safe handling by Taibbi, who's half owned by Milan. Let in only 12 goals at home last season, Taibbi. And only 27 in all. Di Francesco, confronted by Passotto. Ferrara to Tacchinardi. Juventus lost only 4 times on their travels last season in Serie A, at Foggia, Cagliari, Torino and Roma. And remember those 11 wins, equaling the best ever tally in the Italian game, in the top flight anyway. Di Livio, that's good work by him. And the cross just too long for Ravanelli, who felt he was being impeded there. I've had a case too. Carini. Now Bologna almost showed too much of that to Ravanelli. And eventually cleared by Taibbi. It's straight to Jugovic. Now Carini. This is Bologna. Tacchinardi. Being invited really by Piacenza to come forward. Di Livio making that forward run. This is Di Livio now, found superbly by Tacchinardi. And there's the shot. Oh, Vialli. What a good effort.
Yeah, nice falling volley. Difficult, he's got to get that right leg as high as he could. This kind of right leg up, left shoulder down. He just can't get it onto the target. Can't get it on goal. Just pulled it wide of the far post.
Oh, we've seen him score so many of those type of goals in the past on the volley. Such good technique shown by Vialli. Hooked away by Barocchi off the ears of Vialli. Carbone with that miss kick, or rather Carini. Here's Carini again, getting a second bite. Now Turini for Piacenza. 3-4 up in support now, still Turini. Passotto, who gone out there with him. A good catch by Peruzzi.
Yeah, that's not good play by Passotto. I mean, he's a left back, and you don't get people in the right flank putting crosses in as easy as that. I mean, he closed him down, but there's no way he wanted to stop that cross coming into the box. That's poor defending. And it's that type of thing that Piacenza could get a goal out of. You know, they just get one cross into the box. It drops onto a player's head and it's in the net, and then you're chasing the game.
Jugovic.
You see, Peter, if they are going to retain this title this year again, Juventus, and we know how difficult it is in these days, these are the type of games they've got to win. They've got to come to these clubs and they've got to go away with the points. Else there's no way they're going to retain the title.
What about Europe, Don? How strong a challenge do you think they're going to pose in Europe?
Yeah, well, we were talking about this because they're in the same group as Rangers, and obviously Paul Gascoigne was talking about it and looking forward to it very much so. It's a tricky little group, that first group, and they're going to have to be at their best to qualify out of that group. All the clubs.
Yes, no easy start for Juventus against Borussia Dortmund, with whom, of course, Jurgen Kohler is playing now.
Yeah.
And Julio Cesar. Carbone deceiving Paulo Sousa. It's not a bad ball either, almost linking up with Turini. But Pasotto just doing enough to defy him. Ferrara. Vialli, who doesn't seem to be suffering any ill effects from his recent injury. Maybe Delivio has picked one up here. Fouled by Lorenzini. He's been lively in the first half, Delivio.
Well, he is given a little bit of freedom. And if he's not getting his service out on that right flank, he's allowed to move in and across the pitch. And then he can pick up balls in fairly dangerous positions and exploit that area.
Now this is within range for Ravanelli and Jugovic, who's also a menace from distance. It's going to be Ravanelli though. Straight at the wall, somebody felt that. Tacchinardi to Ferrara. Vialli. The challenge by Kacha. Tacchinardi to Paulo Sousa. Delivio and Ravanelli.
You see, Peter, they've got no alternative, Juventus, but to play this way, play with patience, keep probing, trying to get it into feet, perhaps have to come out again, start again, go on the opposite side of the pitch. They have to do that because obviously all the 11 players from Piacenza are deep in their own half. They are defending deep and in and around their own box.
Paulo Sousa on for Ravanelli, who thought Vialli was behind him and also thought he was being fouled at the same time. Down goes Kacha, no hint of a foul though, after he tackles with Ferrara, one of the most obdurate defenders in the world game. Turini to Corini. Now Rossini wasn't the best of passes though, straight at Ferrara. Now Deschamps has given it away. Bologna. Carini. The home crowd urging him on. Still Carini slipping it through. Di Francesco, who's onside. Excellent work by Peruzzi, and then Carini has wasted the chance. Peruzzi was down on the ground then, and Carini spooned his shot over the top. Well, Juventus may be lucky to survive in the end, but they owed so much there to the expertise of Peruzzi in goal.
Yeah, I think Di Francesco overran the ball a little bit, Peter, as he cut in from the right-hand side. But they can get in, Nick. I don't know whether it's Pasotto, the left-back, who's obviously new into the Juventus team, but what Piacenza can do, they can get down this right flank and get into crossing positions, and he just overruns the ball, and keeper gets there, spreads himself very, very well, gets his feet to the ball.
He's a big man, Peruzzi, isn't he?
And Carini there, he's got to keep that volley down. He's got to make it bounce in front of the goal. It's always got a better chance of going in that way than if you smash it high over the bar.
Di Francesco went herring through then, and Peruzzi very bravely out. They used to call him Tyson, that was his nickname. And remember, he was likened to an orangutan as well, and various nicknames of that ilk. He certainly did his job then. But Carini will be so disappointed that he didn't, at the very least, hit the target. Well, Rampolla has had to come on, so Peruzzi, who missed the back end of last season because of injury, is in discomfort again. Rampolla on in goal for Juventus. And for the moment, Peruzzi doesn't know what day it is.
No, he's either broken his nose or he's got a nasty cut on the side of his nose.
He's shown great courage here. Look how he's come out. He's got caught in the face quite clearly by what looked like the knee there of Di Francesco. Yeah. But certainly they've got problems down this left side at the moment, Juventus. That's twice now. They've looked for the linesman's flag. It hasn't been there. And I think it is Pasotto who's been in trouble. The new man in the Juve side on the the left-hand side. It was a bit of a problem position for them last season, wasn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, they tried Johanna, they bought Johanna. He never followed it. He never did the job that Lippi wanted.
Torricelli played there quite often, but he's not a left-footed player.
No, he's not.
But here he is again. And you'll see the challenge of Peruzzi, and no wonder.
It's brave goalkeeping, that mind. He had to do that. It's brave goalkeeping. He spread himself well, and Di Francesco slid into him.
But while he was down, Carini squandered the best chance that they've conjured up so far, Piacenza. And now their own defence is under pressure as Peruzzi leaves the field. And let's hope that isn't too serious. Number 1 for club and country at the moment, Peruzzi. That spins away, and it'll be a corner.
That's 2 free kicks that Juventus have had kind of 10 yards outside the box. And from that distance, it's going to have to be, for a direct shot, it's going to have to be something really fantastic. It's either going to have a lot of bend or a lot of power on the ball. You know, you tend to think they'd want to kind of do a little passing move and get closer into the box.
Jukovic with the corner. It was a free header, and it's gone wide. It was Perini who arrived on the end of the cross. Some slack marking by Piacenza, but again it's gone unpunished.
He should have scored. Nice corner, right to the back post. He's got a free header.
There's actually 3 of them there, look. There's Ravanelli and Delivio as well. So, good chances at both ends. Neither has been taken. Good battling here by Kacha. New man from Ancona. Jukovic with the header away. Paulo Sousa. And then for Deschamps. Now Ravanelli. Solid tackle by Pologna, and a fair one. Now, what can Vialli do here? Jukovic. This is Delivio. Again, possession football by Juventus. But once more, they're finding Piacenza hard to pierce. Tacchinardi to Ferrara. They'll start all over again. Ferrara has lost out. It's Carini. Now, can they take advantage here? Slipped in towards Kacha! It was an excellent opportunity for that fluent move by Piacenza. Once Ferrara's mistake had let them in.
He's not going to have any better chance than that. I can't understand why he didn't go around the keeper. I mean, the keeper was Rampula was late arriving. Why he didn't go around him, I don't know. I mean, he's got a chance to see the goalkeeper's position and take that around him. He just kind of snatched at his shot. And obviously, with the goalkeeper being in that position, there's no way he's going to hit the target. The only way he's going to hit the target is if he lifts it over the goalkeeper there.
It was a perfectly weighted pass from Piovani. Slipped delightfully into his path.
He's not going to have any better chance than that, that's for a fact.
Right at the end of the first half. Indeed, almost, well, we are now in stoppage time. Paulo Sousa, a little injection of pace then. Vialli! What a strike! Gianluca Vialli gives Juventus the lead right on half-time.
And it was a tremendous goal, Peter. I mean, he pulls away from the defenders just enough for Sousa just to thread it through. And on his right foot, just gets to the edge of the box and fires it low into the corner. That's Vialli at his best.
That's the measure of the man. Vialli's first goal in Serie A this season. And how well he took it. Paulo Sousa with that intelligent through pass.
He just pulls away from that defender. And he has to hit it on the volley. And it's very, very accurate. Just pulling away so he can get the ball through in behind the 5 and smack.
He's just waited for his moment then, hasn't he? His timing was immaculate. A really chilling strike by Vialli. And Juventus have the advantage.
Peter, in that football, I mean, at the other end, we saw Piacenza, catch it getting through, should have got the ball in the net. All of a sudden, at the other end, Vialli scores. The ups and downs of football.
Vialli, who, remember, almost didn't play in this game because of injury. Well, Juventus will be delighted that he did start. Back in tandem with Ravanelli up front. And of course, still Del Piero to come back into the side at some point, as we presume he will. Rampula on as a substitute for Peruzzi. We've now had 2 minutes of injury time. Much of that taken up by the problem with Peruzzi.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. If you look at Italian football and look for a front player, I can't see anybody any better than Vialli. And he does everything. He works the flanks, he scores goals, he gets in the box, he closes defenders down as he is going down, chasing the ball. You know, he works for the side. I mean, he's got terrific skills. He can finish well. He's got everything you need as a front player. And then when you look around Italy and try and pick out real top-class front players, how they can leave him out of this Italian team, I don't know.
You wouldn't mind him in the England team, then?
No doubt about that.
Here's Vialli now. This time, though, he's beaten in the air by Bologna. Paolo Sosa, who set up the goal. A player of such vision. Ravanelli. This is Delivio. Jugovic away to his right. Support two from Paolo Sosa. Through the middle. Ravanelli now. Again, Juventus exuding confidence with their approach play. Although, just as I say that, Ravanelli lets it go too far. If you feel that in the second half they will have to raise their game, Piacenza, to wrest control away from Juventus, who had the lead then at half-time, thanks to that goal almost at the end of the first period from Vialli, so cleanly struck. And this after there'd been a scare or two at the other end, certainly when Peruzzi came out so bravely to save, and then indeed had to go off injured. But Lippi's team lead at half-time by 1-0, and we'll be back after a short break. For the match. Ricci a key figure at the back. Rossini taking over his role this afternoon. And certainly to me looked a bit shaky early on. There's Ferraro away from Caccia, but not from Carini, who was half falling before Carini hit him.
I just hope that Piacenza can change their style of play. They have got this, obviously, and it served them well in the past, where they do defend deep and defend around their own box in numbers. I just hope they can push players forward.
There's Tacchinardi with the through ball. Jugovic in pursuit. And that'll be a corner to Juventus, who, of course, were going for the treble last season. They won the league, they won the cup, and only lost out in Europe to Parma, who beat them in the final of the UEFA Cup. That would have been the first treble in the history of the Italian game. It's a free header, and it's gone wide, to the relief of Piacenza, and Taibbi in particular.
Yeah, the goalkeeper is looking around. I mean, the cross comes in, and once more, there's a player virtually on the penalty spot.
Yes, Perini with the header, and he was the man who wasted that chance towards the end of the first half. Free kick to Piacenza.
Sometimes those misunderstandings on who's got who's marking who in that situation is because there's too many players there. You know, there's that many players around the ball. One defender thinks, oh, well, he'll mark him. And the other defender thinks, well, no, he'll mark him. And in the end, no one marks him. And we've seen that 2 or 3 times from Piacenza.
Certainly lost their concentration totally. But they've got away with it. Here's Ravanelli, showing his hunger for the game. Tangling with Rossini. Just showing that Atalanta have scored away to Roma. Vieri with that opening goal. One goal dividing the two teams in this match as well, scored by Vialli. Spectacular strike. That was Carbone with the header. Quiet first half from Carbone. They'll be looking for his influence this season, Piacenza. Former Milan player, had a couple of seasons with them and was with Fiorentina in the last campaign, as I mentioned earlier. Winning his place in the side for much of the season. Rossini to Lorenzini. Now Piovani did well to keep it in. It's not a bad cross either. Well, it certainly appeared to deceive Brackley. Just for a moment now, I thought he might have sneaked in at the far post.
Yeah. Well, Piovani, I mean, he just probed down that left flank. And that's a nice cross on the end of it. And Pasotto has got around and done what he's got to do. That's his covering job.
The corner taken quickly. Only partially away by Jugovic. Again, there the strength of Ferrara. Off goes Delivio, but that's out of play. Delivio, who's also keeping Conte out of the side. Another Italian international who's only on the bench for Juventus. They also have Padovano, the man they signed from Genoa, Torricelli and Marocchi, but not Del Piero, who's doing his national service at the moment, among other things. So he's having a busy time playing for Juventus for Italy. He started the international in the week. He's also playing for the military team. They're playing their version of the World Cup at the moment. They beat the KGB, they got Dad's Army in the quarterfinals, apparently.
Peter, I think he plays the under-21s as well. So he is serving a lot of people at the moment.
Torricelli, who's come on then as a substitute. Just checking round to see who's on for. There's Tacchinardi. That's taken a little nick, but safely through to Taibbi. Delivio. There's Vialli. Did well to whip that one back. And away off Di Francesco for a corner. I think it's Paulo Soso hasn't started the second half. Yes, that's confirmed. Now Jugovic with the corner. Ferrara making no headway, so off go Piacenza on the counter-attack. Bologna to Torini. Now Caccia, who had a couple of near things in the first half. Cost £1 million from Ancona. He was a consistent scorer for them last season in Serie B. They just missed out on promotion. The free kick going Juve's way. Another substitution being made by Juventus to send him on. So they've got some reshuffling. Vialli. Now Conte. Now Tacchinardi. This is Conte. Bologna. Fine anticipation by Tacchinardi. Vialli. The shake of the head will tell you he's not too happy with that.
Yeah, he's a bit disappointed with himself, but he was worth a snapshot. I mean, they won the ball back inside the Piacenza half, and the ball came to him quite quickly. And he just had to get his shot in.
Takinadi taking the free kick. He's looked very composed, Takinadi, in this new role for him at the back. Basotto taking the throw. Gotcha. Torricelli, and coolly back to his goalkeeper. 3 substitutions then made by Juventus. Deschamps and Paulo Sousa off, as well as Ferruzzi. Safely back to Taibbi. There's Conte in his preferred central role. Ravanelli. Now Delivio. Vialli lurking in the middle. Still Delivio. He's done well to get his cross in too. Vialli almost making contact. And certainly appreciating the service there from Delivio.
Yeah, that's good flank play. I mean, he's worked hard to try and get a crossing with his right foot. It's not on, the defender's done his job well. Checks back onto his left foot and immediately crosses it. So he's successful in that way. I mean, he's finished up getting his crossing, which is what flank play is all about.
Ten minutes into the second half, Juventus still in control. This is Rossini getting the better of Ravanelli. That looked over the line. Indeed, it's a corner. Ravanelli's chase has gained reward. This is Jukovic taking the corner. Ferrara has come up from the back. Vialli and Ravanelli in there too, of course. But a jostling going on involving Ferrara. But he couldn't meet the cross. Porrini. Did well to pull it back. It struck the bar. Ravanelli. What on earth was Taibbi thinking of there? Well, it certainly called him out.
Yeah, well, what he should have done, he should have just pushed the ball over the bar to the back of the net for a corner. I mean, he took a chance by letting it go. I think he thought it was going to go over the bar by itself. And obviously, when they're just curling back that little bit.
Porrini away from Delivio. Still no real cutting edge to Piacenza's approach play. This is Takinadi. Strong and very impressive. And you can see what was in his mind then.
One of the good things, yeah, is that ball coming in again. The goalkeeper looks at it, he looks as though he's got it checked.
Yeah, he thinks it's going over, no question. Oh.
He's lucky to get away with that. I mean, a good goalkeeper just doesn't take that chance. He makes sure it's going over the bar.
Here comes Torrini. He's surely offside there. They pushed up very quickly. Torricelli organising things at the back.
Yeah, well, they push up Peter when the flank player's going down the right wing, and he checks back onto his left foot. That's when they come out and catch players offside. The signal for the defenders in the box is when the winger comes inside, we push out and leave their forwards offside in the box.
Substitution, Moretti, who is very much the idol, certainly of the female fans among the Piacenza contingent. Now getting his chance, Moretti. Clever little player, but no longer guaranteed a regular place since the arrival of newcomers. Pesotto. Lorenzini is the player who's gone off. Won by Vialli. Now De Livio. Away from Bologna. Still De Livio. And his perseverance has paid off. He's had a good match.
Well, I've got to say this, he does get plenty of decent service. I mean, they get the ball out to that right flank. You know, they are a little bit of a right-sided player, mainly because of De Livio.
Here's Jugovic with the corner. Vialli and Ferrara, I think, going for the same ball. And it's Carbone who's come off worse. Free kick to Piacenza.
It's a big, deep corner.
It's Ferrara who's gone into the back of Carbone.
He's virtually took a little bit of a lift off Ravanelli to get his height.
On by Tacchinardi. This is Rossini for Piacenza. He's playing out of position really, Rossini. He's a left back, but having to fill in that sweeper role in the absence of Lucci. There's a roar around the ground. May well be for the news that Udinese have scored against Milan, so that's now 1-1. Milan having gone ahead, but Poggi has equalised. Torricelli, he's done well here, and Torricelli has scored. 15 minutes into the second half, and Juventus double their lead thanks to Torricelli, a very, very rare goal. His first in Serie A indeed, let alone for Juventus.
The thing about it, Peter, is that obviously he supported quickly Vialli. Vialli done one of his usual spins down the flanks, gets the ball up the side of him, can't get in, checks back, knocks it back to Torricelli. Now when he comes in, he has looked at the goalkeeper and hits it right in the right spot, just inside the far post. That's a good finish for a defender.
Well, his only previous goal was in the UEFA Cup 3 years ago, Torricelli. But he has been one of the club's most consistent performers over the past 3 seasons. Some surprise that he hasn't been in the starting lineup for the league game so far. He didn't feature on the opening day against Cremonese. But he almost scored against Avellino in the Italian Cup 10 days ago when his shot was saved and Padovano scored on the rebound. This time, Torricelli has found the net. And it's a long, long way back from here for Piacenza.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult now. And if Juventus keep coming forward and doing all the good things that they are doing, I mean, they're playing some nice through balls at the moment. In fact, this half, they've been a little bit more direct, Juventus.
Jugovic. Outmanoeuvred by Turini. They've got to show more adventure, more enterprise now, Piacenza, if they're to get anything out of this game. Their fans in great voice now, Juventus. On by Conte as Di Francesco. Caught in possession though, Ravanelli onto the return pass. And eventually off Rossini for the corner. And they got themselves in a bit of a tangle then, Piacenza, all of their own making.
Yeah, Peter, they're in trouble. You know, the reason they're trying to pass their way out of their own half is that I don't think there's many players up front to hit. So they're having to play kind of 10-yard passes.
Way ahead on the corner count too, taken by Jugovic, and it was Perini. That's 3 headers he's had now around the 6-yard box. He's failed with all of them, but Taibbi was struggling on the cross. Surprisingly so, he's a big man.
Yeah, he's a big lad, but his positional play on his crosses is poor. He's always chasing the ball.
At least he didn't try the scorpion flip. What did you make of that from Higuita?
Well, it's fantastic. I mean, there's no way you would recommend it to anyone in football, especially the kids out there. But I suppose for that type of game, you can get away with it.
What did Terry Venables say alongside you on the bench?
He just said to Dave Seaman and Tim Flowers, "Don't you get up to those tricks."
A real character, Rene Higuita of Colombia. I think we'll see the like of him again. Marcello Lippi, the coach of Juventus' team, now in command. Remember, they won on the opening day, so it's been a solid start by Juventus. If indeed they do go on to take the points this afternoon, it seems likely. Can't really see Piacenza coming back from this. But stranger things have happened. Away by Rossini. Piovani. All a bit too casual, though. Not quite showing enough sharpness this afternoon, Piacenza. Well, they had their moments, certainly in the first half. An excellent chance that fell to Kacha. A couple of other near misses too. But now Juventus have asserted their authority with the second goal scored by the substitute, Torricelli. Ferraro with the pass. That's Ravanelli. Returning it to Torricelli. Conte, lovely little flick then. And the referee wants to stop play for a yellow card. I think that's Carbone. What else can I do, he says.
I mean, as you would expect. I mean, they are the classier side, Juventus. I mean, the passing is nice and varied, you know. It's in and it's out, and it's changed the play, and it's long and it's short. You've got all the qualities of good passing in this Juventus side. And then, obviously, the finishing at the top. You know, when you got Vialli and Ravanelli and players coming from the back, as Torricelli did for his goal. You know, that's what it's about. It's not an easy job for Piacenza, and their restrictions on the amount of money and the players they can buy.
Long through ball from Torricelli, and it was Turini chasing back. Now Bologna. Yes, they've been far less predictable, haven't they, Juventus, than Piacenza. They maybe now have lost the winning habit. They went so long unbeaten in the last season, but then had a terrible run at the end of the campaign. Admittedly, when promotion was already secured. They've got out of the habit now. And it's hard for them to regain that confidence. Piovani. This is Moretti, the substitute. Teasing Pasotto and whipping over a dangerous ball too. And that's comfortable enough from Carbone for the substitute goalkeeper Rampula. Confirmation there of the caution a couple of minutes ago for Carbone. Now Ravanelli. Confronted by Marcopi. Well, he looks relaxed enough down there, Lippi, and no surprise at that, really.
I think if they get another goal, another Ivana will come out there, Peter. I mean, his side have... It's not an easy game for Juventus. And I said earlier on, yes, they should win these type of games. But when it's all over and they've won, then everybody said, well, you'd expect it to. But they're never easy.
Well, Lippi said last season, we won't start too quickly. We'll find our best form towards the Christmas period. But this time, well, they've started with a real flourish. Piovani. That's not a bad ball at all. Now Moretti, what can he do here? They back to Turini. Charged down by Porrini. No hint of a handball. Torricelli. A bit too strong for Piovani, who clearly impeded him.
When Piacenza come forward and they knock those diagonal balls out to the right wing, they can always get someone in there. More times than not, it's the right flank player. But at least they can make some headway there. It's just they're not delivering on the end of it. Pasotto, he just covers in on his centre-back, on his sweeper a little bit too much. And that long crossfield pass to the outside right is always on.
Turini. Turns straight into Takinadi. Now Jugovic. Just calming it all down for Juventus. Leading 2-0. Vialli just before half-time, and then Torricelli with the second. Di Francesco with a throw to Carbone. Conte. Now Di Livio. This is Ravanelli, who's found some space and spotted Jugovic over on the far side. Bologna in firmly. And the free kick given to Piacenza.
We haven't seen so much of Jugovic. When he was playing for Sampdoria, I thought he was an outstanding player, and I'm sure he will be for Juventus. But within this game, he hasn't done too much.
Rossini. They've got to come forward now, Piacenza. Di Francesco. They certainly were defending very deeply in the first half. Now Piovani can't get in there ahead of Takinadi. I've no idea what they're shouting on the public address, but it's very noisy. Something about Don Howe and hats, I heard that bit.
I think they haven't given up the crowd, and that's the good thing about crowds and supporters at times. You know, some crowds, all right, one or two go quiet when their team's losing, but you can still get the faithful at the back of the stand who are prepared to shout and try and get their team going.
A long, hopeful pass from Carini. With 20 minutes to go, they need some inspiration from somewhere, Piacenza. And it's a bit hard to see where that will come from. Even the loss of Peruzzi hasn't thrown Juventus in any way. Torricelli, who I'm sure will have been feeling aggrieved not to have been in the starting lineup after his performances last season. And that's a measure of the depth of Lippi's squad these days.
Yeah, well, obviously he was very aware in the summer, having lost Roberto Baggio, which we were all surprised about. And then with Del Piero not starting off that well this season.
Ravanelli, laid back for Jugovic. Well, he has been a regular goal scorer down the years, Jugovic. Popped up with some useful ones, certainly for Sampdoria, and a couple so far already for Juventus. And it was a reasonable chance. He's a fair way out, he's outside the box, but just trying to curl it under the bar. Torricelli. Ravanelli, that's an excellent pass, releasing Di Livio, who spotted Vialli in the middle. And then Turini getting the better of Jugovic. Bologna. Carini. He's found Carbone. Now Piovani. Moretti is the target. The cross almost reaching Carbone. This is Piovani. And the man who scored 15 times in Serie B last season is way, way over the bar.
It's that type of approach they've got to keep at. I mean, the cross comes in, and it's not a bad cross. All right, it is with his left foot. And then it's this second ball on the edge of the D. You know, I mean, if they can do that, because they can get that ball out to the right flank. And obviously, they'd like the ball into coming early, but at least it's getting in there. And then the midfield players have to push up to the edge of that D to pick up that header out, that second ball.
Ravanelli has been penalised. Rossini taking charge of the free kick. Now Bologna. Down by Caccia. Only as far as Jugovic. Ferrara to Passato. Vialli still toiling away. Rossini.
I just think they've just gone off the boil a little bit, Ravanelli and Vialli.
This is Ravanelli now, showing his strength. Does he have a finish? Ravanelli! Oh! Oh, pick that one up.
Well, to be honest, in this second half, they have. I just thought that the two front players had just lost their edge a little bit, and he's just picked up that early ball back. There was a little bit of a confrontation in the midfield. It gets knocked back to him, and he's away. And he was coming out late. I mean, they were pushing out the Piacenza defence, knocked it back to Ravanelli. Now he's on his way, and once he gets it on that left foot, and he can bend that ball inside the far post.
A goal on 73 minutes from the man they call the White Feather, and this is a classic finish. Just held it up, teased the defender, and then right into the corner. 5 goals in 4 matches this season for Ravanelli, to follow his 30 in club matches last season. He's got one, of course, for Italy in this campaign. But he's right on song. And so are Juventus. Vialli, whose goals set them on their way. And you have to say, on the evidence of this game today, it's going to take a very good team to take that title away from them. Di Francesco. Now Piovani. Just don't seem to have the guile now, and heads are dropping for Piacenza. Well, his head's high enough.
Yeah, I mean, it was a well-taken goal. All right, we could look at Rossini, the Perugia.
Meantime, there's Carbone just going close.
They've been there or thereabouts, but Piacenza, but they can't hit the target, can they, at all?
Well, certainly Juventus defenders asleep then, and so too was the Italian director, who almost missed it. Carbone just wide of the post. I think we all doubted Ravanelli at first when we saw him come onto the Italian team, but he looks the business now.
Yeah.
Here he is once more. Just looked a mite jaded in the first half, but he's come out with a vengeance in the second period. Vialli. It's such an exciting combination between the two. Di Francesco, Vialli, look at him chasing back there. His team are 3 up. Piovani. Vialli still wants the ball, still wants to join in, link up, chase back, you name it.
Yeah, you're talking about these pairings, and we look at Ravanelli and Vialli, and obviously it'll be nice, Peter, when we see Baggio and Weir, see how they're getting on. Will they create that same aura, that same ability to work off each other?
Torricelli with the free kick up towards Jugovic. Now Ravanelli looking to pose more problems. That's Bologna who's gone out there with him, helped out by Carbone, who went hurtling in. Rossini. Ferrara policing catch-up. Di Francesco. He was one of the culprits in the penalty contest against Forlì in the Italian Cup when they lost out in the shootout. Carini was the other. Turini. Now Carini. Not played with too much conviction, though, and that rather sums them up, I think.
It's just that final ball occasionally, and then occasionally it's just to hit the target, to hit the goal and the shot on the volley or whatever it is that presents itself. Just making sure they keep the ball on the goal.
I've been impressed again by Juventus's movement around the field. Always seem to have so many players available.
Peter, I think what it is that, I mean, as you know, the modern day fashion is to play with one up. And Juventus have shown that they're not only playing with one up, but they're playing with a flank player as well, in Delivio. So at least Lippi is keeping his options open in terms of the way he wants to play, and keeping players, three front players at least, and getting players from midfield to support that.
Ravanelli. And still Del Piero to slot in at some stage. Obviously he will feature. But he might find it hard to get in the team. I think we all felt when Baggio departed this would be Del Piero's big chance, but maybe not.
And I would agree with that. I think he played so well at times and scored some outstanding goals. I think the Juventus management thought that Del Piero was good enough to take Baggio's place.
Now Catcher. Again, the pass was very optimistic and easily snuffed out the danger by Torricelli. Here he is again now. He'd be in my team.
Yes. But he can get down the flanks. I mean,
well, he can play anywhere, Torricelli.
Yeah, that's right. He plays right across the back, and he just like to get forward, and he supports play from the back. I mean, that's how he got his goal. It's only because he's prepared to break his neck to support Vialli.
Parini. And they haven't taken their foot off the accelerator, Juventus, even though they're comfortably in charge. There's 3-goal advantage. Parini. 10 minutes to go. Vialli. Now support from Torricelli. Delivio. Ravanelli to Parini. Just toying with Piacenza now. There's Tacchinardi. Rossini with the foot in. Carini for Piacenza to Moretti. Now Piovani.
No doubt about it, Peter. This has been a class performance by Juventus. Now, obviously, you'd say, well, let's wait till they play some of the top teams.
Moretti's cross. The interception was from Torricelli. And now the flag is up for offside. Yes, I suppose you'd look back towards the end of the first half when they had those chances, Piacenza, but the game has slipped away from them once Vialli had scored. That really was it.
Yes, I mean, you don't get carried away with your predictions, especially when they haven't really been tested this season yet. I know it's early days, but you would always say, well, yeah, let's wait till they play AC Milan and Lazio and Inter Milan. Then let's see if they can play the same quality football.
Ravanelli, for the moment, without his front-running partner. No, Vialli's okay. I thought he maybe was looking to go off for a second. He got caught in the face, I think. Ravanelli. And the flag up against Delivio. The kick taken quickly. Down goes Piovani, caught by Torricelli's challenge. And a yellow card for the Juve defender. He felt it was a clean tackle. Referee Cesari thought otherwise. So caution for Marino Torricelli.
I think what comes across to you, Peter, when you watch them play is this. Yeah, that's definitely a foul. I mean, he never got anywhere near the ball there, Torricelli. I mean, there's no complaints there. He's moaning and groaning, but that was a foul. But what I'm saying is that what comes across to you, Juventus, is the team spirit. Obviously, Marcello Lippi, the coach, he must work hard on that, because they do all work for each other, like mad. I mean, they're prepared to make runs.
Di Francesco, just to interrupt you there, Don. I thought he was having a crack at goal for a moment. And one of their former players, the former player, I suppose, is working hard for Milan now. He's put his team in front. Roberto Baggio, 2-1 up against Udinese, who'd come back to equalise. This is Rossini. They're a bit bereft of decent ideas, though, Piacenza, certainly in the second half. There's Conte. Play on, says referee Cesari, and Ferrara obliges. Di Livio will be hoping he's done enough to keep his place in the team. So much competition in this Juve squad. A big night coming up for them against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League on Wednesday.
If they're going to survive Piacenza, they need a goal scorer. Badly, they need a goal scorer. Else they're going to work hard. I mean, you can see that, you know, they've got a good application, and they're trying to do the things that they think's important to them. But unless they can get someone in and around that box who can knock the occasional goal in, they'll struggle like mad.
Well, obviously, we didn't see too much of Piacenza last season, but our statistician Radar Pietro, who knows these things, tells me they had De Vitis and Inzaghi, who were scoring regularly for them, and let them both go. So maybe they'll be regretting that now. Ravanelli. Now Tacchinardi, who grows in stature with every match, if he's not clattered from behind, that is.
That's always so. I mean, you're always going to get that situation where a player has to be sold, or, you know, it is sometimes about balancing the books. You know, I think about Ray Wilkins at QPR losing Les Ferdinand. Obviously, that's a hell of a loss for a manager to have to take, and for a team to have to take. And where do you find a player to take his place?
Carini. Now, he's been a disappointment, Carini. Started brightly, but like many of the Piacenza players, he's faded, lost confidence, lost morale, and with 5 minutes to go, they're on the wrong end of a hiding. It's going to be a struggle for Piacenza on their return to the top flight, only their second campaign, remember, in the highest company in Italy. Ferrara. Touched back by Vialli. A copy. Well, he's been outmaneuvered. This is Vialli, and that's number 4. Gianluca Vialli strikes again. Another goal from the master goal poacher.
Well, here again, it was just winning possession back in the Piacenza defending third. I mean, the ball's been crossed. The ball goes across the pitch, and the right back's cut it off, and he had a poor header. And they were back on the ball straight away after the ball. And a lovely little ball into Vialli again, and you don't give him this position. You know, he can pass that ball into that gap, no problem at all.
Yeah, that's what he's done. He's passed it in, you're right. Conte certainly played his part there. But again, the execution so clinical from Vialli. And this partnership, Vialli and Ravanelli, is going to take some stopping again this season. Europe, beware. 2 goals for Vialli. Nothing much he can do now, the coach Luigi Cagni, a disconsolate figure down by the bench. His team were in contention for the first half, certainly until Vialli's goal, right on the stroke of half-time. But in the second half, well, Juventus have run away with it, really. Imposed their class, imposed their quality, and still they're seeking more goals, too. It's a foul by Ravanelli. But his season is certainly up and running. So too that of Vialli. A double strike for the captain.
It's a good. He's earned his salary this week. I mean, he scored two goals. He's had 1 assist for Torricelli. I mean, you can't have anything better than that.
That's a bit cheeky from Conte. I think that's taking the mickey a bit. Obviously, Taibbi was off his line, but no real suggestion that Conte might have scored from there. Well, they all fancy their chances now, Juventus, especially with Torricelli scoring. His first ever in the league for Juventus, remember. A couple of minutes to go. This is Di Livio. Tacchinardi, he clearly has an outstanding future in the game. Torricelli. This is Ravanelli creating havoc again, or trying to anyway. But this time outsmarted by Rossini, although he has won the throw.
The thing about Ravanelli is he uses his body so well. I mean, any bouncing ball or ball that's free, the first thing he does, he puts his body across the defender. Now, I can tell you this, having been occasionally in that situation with a big man, you can't get near the ball under those circumstances. You know, if you get a front player who is as big as Ravanelli and Vialli, and they know how to use and when to use their body, it's very, very difficult for a defender. They can screen that ball and you can't get near it.
Delivio. Passotto. It's all too easy for Juventus now. It's been a torrid afternoon for Piacenza. Now Ferrara. Ravanelli. Piacenza's coach Luigi Cagni suffering down on the touchline. He's based his success in the past on a recipe of, he says, sex and pizza. I don't know if you had that in the past, Don. I don't think you were too keen on pizza, were you? But here's Carbone. Caccia. Maybe one last hope for Piacenza. Caccia trying his luck. Nothing though to test Rampula, who's looked safe enough since coming on. I think his look says everything.
Yeah, he hasn't had the best of games. He's had a couple of half chances, which perhaps for a front player he ought to have done better with. Especially the one in the first half. We had a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He's got to go round the keeper there.
Into stoppage time. A consolation is the best that Piacenza can hope for now. Piovani. Will certainly give their morale a lift if they could manage one, but not that way. Rampula, who's 33 now, and kept goal safely enough when he came in at the back end of last season, and very able to substitute again today then for Peruzzi. We'll hope that's not too bad, Peruzzi, that facial injury he suffered towards half-time. The one sour note really for Juventus this afternoon, to lose a goalkeeper of his class. Perini tangling with Caccia, and he, says the referee, is the offender, turning away in disappointment. Piovani has got Caccia up with him. Piovani with a shot. Beaten down by Rampula. Cool as you like.
It's better, Peter.
Yeah, it's given the crowd something to cheer anyway.
It was a powerful shot, and it's on goal. And that's what it's all about. Perhaps he did too well, because it was fairly direct at the keeper. Who made a lot of the ball, incidentally. I mean, I think a lot of goalkeepers have just caught that ball and got on with it, but just have to knock it down. A respect of the power in the shot, I suppose.
Here's Tacchinardi, and there is the final whistle, blown by referee Graziano Cesari to signal a comprehensive victory for Juventus. Lippi will be well pleased with this. 4-0. Not so comfortable in the first half. But once they had that first goal from Vialli, well, there was no way back for Piacenza from there.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Peter. It was fairly even, Stephen, the first half. They had their chances, Piacenza. If they could have knocked one in, we might have seen a different type of a game. But as the game went through, their growing confidence did Juventus. And having got that first goal by Vialli, off they went then. And it just went on and on and on, and finished off a 4 nice goals and a comfortable win and all the points.
Okay, well, let's look back on the goals then, Don. The first then 5 minutes from half-time, after Piacenza had those chances, certainly one for Caccia, but then the strike from Vialli Much to be admired there.
Well, he made the position to start with by pulling away, dragging away from that defender, Rossini, and then hitting it on the volley right into the corner. No chance for the keeper. Top class finishing.
Well, now the second goal, with Piacenza struggling to get back at Juve in the second half, and there's Torricelli, a moment he'll remember for a long time.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he did this. He got up there to support Vialli. It was Vialli who gave him the ball. But the thing is, the accuracy of the shot inside that far post, hard and low.
Well, Ravanelli had been scoring freely in the earlier matches, and here he is again.
Well, Peter, he can bend those balls inside that far post. It's power and bend. You know, is it across it? It is bending back just inside the far post. No chance for the goalkeeper. But the defender should have kept Ravanelli on his right foot.
Well, Conte, with his persistence, helped to set this one up. And again, as you said at the time, he's just passed it into the corner, Vialli.
No problem. I mean, the thing about it is Conte getting up to him and winning the ball back in and around the Piacenza goal. And then no trouble for Vialli. He can slot those away anytime he likes.
So, for the third club match in a row, Juventus have scored 4 times. We'll be back with the other scores from Serie A in a moment, after first hearing from Luther Blissett with James Richardson. James?
Thank you, Peter. Well, Luther and I, we were right, really, weren't we, at the start? We said it'd be an open game, but we said it would be a bit of a mismatch too.
Yeah, you sussed it out well.
It wasn't too tricky when I looked down the squads and saw names like Ravanelli and Vialli. And
yeah, I think that changed it, didn't it? A bit special over there today.
Yeah. Ravanelli, I read incredulous this week, was proposing himself as the next European Footballer of the Year. Now, is this heresy or what?
Well, if he keeps putting the ball away like that, I think you've got to give him a chance, I think.
It is extraordinary. He's not just like tapping them in either, is he?
No, I mean, he is scoring some very good goals and he works so hard as well. So, I mean, he does deserve everything he's getting at the moment.
Right, okay. And Vialli?
Vialli, different class. Started off rather slow today, but he pushed himself up front in the end, and by the end of the game, I mean, he's absolutely superb.
Okay. Piacenza, fresh up from Serie B, heading back down there. They've had 8 goals conceded now in 2 games.
I mean, looking at that, they have got some big problems. They do need somebody who can score goals, because if they'd taken their chance early on, it could have been a different game. But as the game wore on, they were totally outclassed by the end.
Okay. Well, Juventus steaming ahead at the top of the table. Let's find out how their rivals got on now and get a check on the final scores with Peter.
Yes, the other results just reaching me now. Cagliari 0, Lazio 1, surprise, surprise. Signori with a winning goal on 22 minutes. Sampdoria have been held to a goalless draw by Cremonese. Milan have just sneaked it against Udinese. Sergio an own goal, giving Milan the lead on 18 minutes. Poggi with the equaliser on the hour for Udinese. But then Roberto Baggio, his first goal for Milan, the winner 5 minutes from time. Milan 2, Udinese 1. Napoli have beaten Padova by 2-0. That's Pecchia and Agostini. Pecchia in the first half, Agostini with 20 minutes to go. And then Roma 0, Atalanta 1. That's Vieri with a penalty 5 minutes into the second half. Torino 3, Bari 1. Ricci an own goal. Hakan, the Turk, who scored twice for his country of the week. And Rizzatelli for Torino. And Proti with a lone reply for Bari. Piacenza 1, Fiorentina 0. Maurizio Rossi on 67 minutes. So, looking at the top of the table, Juventus out in front again, along with Lazio and Milan, all 3 on 6 points, maximum points so far. Napoli and Atalanta, both with 4 from 2. Top scorers in Serie A, Ravanelli on 3. Banchelli with a couple for Fiorentina. Esposito, Proti, Signori, Vialli and Vieri. They're the leading scorers in Serie A so far this season. Don't forget the evening kick-off game, Parma against Inter on Tuesday in Mezzanotte. But for now, it's back to James.
Well, Juventus well represented there in these scoring charts. Of course, they've had 8 goals in their first 2 games, and really they do look the favourites now, despite Milan and Parma's reinforcements over the summer to lift the title again.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking very strong. I mean, I'd like to see them respond to going a goal behind, but you can't see them changing the way they're playing. I mean, at the moment, they seem to have it really sorted out quite well.
The one minor drawback is the fact that, you know, they might be doing too much too quickly. Last year, they started off with a very slow run up into their form.
Yeah, but you could say that, but I think most managers or any team, you'd rather start off as strong as you possibly can, because if you do have a little lull in the middle of it, and then hopefully you can pick it up after that, but I don't see a problem for them.
Okay, well, we shall see. We'll be following their progress, of course, as the season progresses. Thanks anyway for joining us today, Luther. Remember, we'll be watching on Tuesday night in Mezzanotte the highlights for tonight. Interesting game between Inter and Parma. Paul Ince and, of course, Roberto Carlos are there for Inter. Stoichkov and Zola, just 2 of the names for Parma. Watch that on Tuesday night at around midnight. Then on Saturday morning at 11 11 o'clock, Gazzetta will be back with the whole crowd of the Serie A stars, really, as we review the week's action. And on Sunday, what looks like a very interesting live match indeed. Sampdoria against Parma, David Platt's old club, facing Parma. And let's see how they can get on there at the Marassi Stadium. For now, though, we say goodbye from Piacenza and leave you with Gianluca Vialli.